There are lots of things that I absolutely love doing. For example, walking my dog on the beach, renovating the house I recently purchased by the coast, although it needs a little bit more renovation than I would have liked. I also like painting abstract pictures, believe it or not. But working 12 hours a day to make a living, I don't love that. I worked in construction for 28 years and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like the work. I didn't love it. I did it because at the time I thought I needed to. I thought it was the only thing that I was qualified to do, and I was wrong. And then 15 years ago, I opened a document written by Roy Carter, and everything changed. I retired from construction and switched to digital marketing. Not because I was young, because I wasn't, and not because I had the qualifications that most people think they need to make it online, because I didn't. I quit because I knew from that point that I just couldn't fail. 15 years and $4.9 million later, it's now time for me to semi-retire and hand you the key to what is the easiest and most profitable business that I've ever found online. So right now you might be watching me and you might be thinking this is a really unorthodox video for a digital marketer to make. Now, if you're younger than 45, then you might be wondering why I'm filming this in my workshop instead of in an office or in, better surroundings, or in keeping with this type of video. But if you're over 45, then you'll probably understand, or you might understand. Fact is, at my age, I'd much rather be in my workshop. Now, regardless of your age, I'm sure there are a ton of things that you'd much rather be doing than working. Which brings me to Cabooodl. Semi-retirement for me obviously didn't mean that I didn't need money anymore, because obviously we all need money. It just meant that I needed to find a simple way of making the money that I'd become accustomed to making without putting the hours in, which took me all the way back to Roy's document from 15 years ago. You see, making money online isn't difficult if you keep it simple. There are only 3 ingredients which you actually need to succeed. You need a revenue source, this is how you get paid. You need a constant flow of targeted traffic. And you need a conversion process, which is how you turn that targeted traffic into paying customers. That's it, that's all you need. You don't need all the fancy stuff. You don't need tech, you don't need software, you don't need AI, you don't need to pay for subscriptions, and you don't need to pay for coaching. And lastly, you don't need to be a 25-year-old whiz kid in order to make money, because if that were true, I never would have made a single dollar online. All you need are those 3 ingredients. So that's how I built Cabooodl. Cabooodl is based around an endless source of fast, free, targeted traffic. More specifically, I'll show you how to use 7 to 10 second B-roll video reels with hook captions, value descriptions, and transition CTAs to get targeted traffic from Instagram daily. B-roll video is perfect for people that aren't comfortable making videos, but still want to capitalize on videos because they know the potential, because there's no narration, there's no talking, and you don't even need to be in the video if you don't want to. Now imagine filming your dog playing on the beach and then getting over 3,000 views, some of which you can turn into revenue. Now I couldn't believe it either, but here's a video. Cabooodl starts with the traffic. It's fast, it's free, I'd say it's even fun. And you can use it to sell absolutely anything. Or you can use it to sell the specially designed revenue source that I've included with Cabooodl, which brings me to the final ingredient, the conversion process. In my 15 years as a digital marketer, I've seen this over and over again. The ability to sell is an ability that most people just don't possess. How do you convince somebody that's just watched a 10-second B-roll video with no talking, no narration, no nothing, to then buy something to part with money so you can make money? Well, you don't. The conversion tool that I've already created for you, which you just give away, that conversion tool does the selling for you. It's simple, there's no hype, you don't have to persuade anybody to do anything, you never have to do any selling. As I said, the conversion tool, I've already created it for you. When somebody asks, you just give it to them. you give it to them for free, and that's all you do. Now here's the plan for some of you. So some of you in a moment are going to log into Cabooodle. You're going to start following my instructions. You're going to start using the complete system that I created to fund my semi-retirement. Now I say some because in my experience, the mere mention of doing even a little work, putting in even a little effort is going to send some people running to look for the next shiny button, the next get-rich-quick product. And that's perfectly fine when we're just getting started. Most of us follow that route until we wise up. Those of you that don't run and do log into Cabooodle will find access to one of the most thorough, one of the most inclusive and simple systems that I've ever created. And in the last 15 years, I've created a lot. Cabooodle is everything you need to start making money this week with nothing left out. The traffic, the revenue source, the conversion tool, it's all included, as are the Instagram settings you need to use. Now, I'm sure many of you watching me right now or have watched this video so far and thought to yourself, yeah, anybody can do that. That's been done before. If you're not using the right settings, it's not going to work. And as well as the settings, I'll also cover identity framing. This is something that absolutely nobody else covers. And it's something that I have found makes all of the difference. It turns you as an individual into a person that people will listen to and buy from. When you log into Cabooodle for the first time, you'll instantly see that this is far more than a set of instructions. It's all there with built-in income potential as the icing on the cake. Now, I mentioned the built-in revenue source just a moment ago. What I didn't say is how much you can potentially make. However, before I do that, let's talk about the cost. Let's talk about how much it's going to cost you to get access to Cabooodle today. Now, if you're expecting me to start justifying a big price, then you're going to be surprised. The price of Cabooodle for you today is just $17. So that's a one-off $17. There are no subscriptions, there are no additional costs. You pay $17 today and that's all you need. Now there's a very good reason I've made it this cheap, which I'll explain in just a moment. But first, let's get back to that potential, what you can make with this system. So you pay $17 for Cabooodle. You get access to everything that I've mentioned in this video and on this page. It's everything you need to start making money this week. Now, as I've already mentioned, you can use Cabooodle to sell absolutely anything. But if you use it to sell the built-in revenue source, then you can make up to $96 every time somebody goes through the system. And all you have to do is focus on one thing and give away the conversion tool when people ask for it. You don't have to push it, you just give it away when people ask for it. So you pay $17, it's a one-off $17, so that's all you ever pay, yet you can make up to $96 over and over again. So every time you give the conversion tool away, every time somebody goes through the entire process, you have the potential to make up to $96. So I'm sure you can see the potential there, and you do the math, but it's a great return because there's no limits, there's no end to how much you can make with this system. $17 today and you can keep using the system over and over again with the potential to make up to $96 every single time. So just to recap, you buy Cabooodle today, there are no additional costs. You're not going to need autoresponders, you're not going to need software, you're not going to need anything else. Once you have Cabooodle, you can keep using it. You can use it 100 times a day if you like. Now, if all of that, if everything that I've covered so far has all been a little bit quick for you, let me just recap the main points again for you. So Cabooodle is a system that I created to fund my semi-retirement. I created it because I still want to make the money, but I don't want to work the hours. In fact, I want to work 1 hour a day. That's it. It's a simple, low-tech system because I'll be honest with you, even after 15 years, I still don't have a tech bone in my body. I created it to be totally free to implement because without costs, every dollar I make is a dollar in my pocket. And it's the same for you. I created it to include everything because there's nothing worse than buying a course or a product or a system and then finding out that one of the pieces isn't there, and I created it and priced it low to help people make money, hence the low price compared to the potential $96 you can make each time someone goes through the system. But honestly, I'll help you make money, because when you make money, I make money too. So for every dollar that you make, I make a dollar too. But the way it works is I only make money when you get paid first. So I really do have a vested interest in Cabooodle working for you. Now, before you click the button or make a decision either way, ask yourself this question. What could a retired construction worker with no qualifications or very little qualifications, no tech skill whatsoever, someone who doesn't make fancy marketing videos and yet still made almost $5 million online, teach me? I'll leave you to ponder that question and give you a moment to check out the rest of this page. And then when you're ready, click the button or any button on this page, and Cabooodle will cost you just $17. And lastly, that document I mentioned that I read 15 years ago from Roy, this is my version of that for you today. And thanks for taking the time to watch this unorthodox video.